Hi, my name is Detective Taylor Platt. The date is May 30th, 2025, and it is 3:30 p.m. Today I will be conducting an interview to gather information related to the murders in the Oldfields community. Mr. Curran is not suspected of committing a crime at this time. This is an informal interview to collect background information about the victims and any unusual activity. This is my interviewee today. Please state your full name, age, and occupation.
My name is Francis Curran. I'm 45 years old, and I'm a traveling peddler.
How long have you been working as a peddler in the Oldfields community?
I started about 3 years back. It was around springtime when I began doing regular rounds here. At first, I was covering a few farms scattered across Suffolk County, but I narrowed it down to Oldfields because the people here are steady customers. Since there's no proper store nearby, they count on people like me for basic goods.
Okay. Can you describe the types of goods you sell and how often you make rounds to each household?
I carried a variety of small household items, including candles, soap, fabric, thread, salt, tin cups, and matches. Sometimes I'll get requests for specific items, and I try to bring those on the next trip. I usually make my rounds once every 7 to 10 days, depending on the weather and how fast I move through the other stops. Some families I see more often if they need something more urgent or if I owe them a delivery.
You mentioned visiting the Smith farmhouse on both Saturday and Sunday. Why did you visit them each day?
On Saturday, I stopped by the Smith's place like I normally do. Miss Smith had asked me the week before if I could bring her more thread and some new soap that I had dropped off, and stayed maybe around 10 minutes. She was out front hanging laundry when I had arrived. Mr. Smith was working in the barn, I think. I didn't talk to him on Sunday. I passed by the house again on my way toward the edge of town. I didn't stop that time. I just rode by.
Okay. What did you observe during your visit on Saturday? What were the Smiths doing, or how did they seem to you?
They seemed like they always did. Quiet, polite. Miss Smith was friendly, but not very talkative. I gave her the item she asked for, and we exchanged a few words. I didn't go past the front room. She looked a little tired, but I figured that was normal with all the chores she must have to do. Nothing struck me as off or strange.
Very nice. When you passed by the Smith farmhouse on Sunday, what time was it, and did you notice anything unusual?
It must have been early afternoon, probably around 1 or 1:30. The sun was out and the road was dry as I passed by. I noticed that the house looked quieter than normal. No one was outside and the windows were shut. That's not too unusual though. A lot of people rest on Sundays or stay indoors. I didn't hear any noises and didn't see anyone moving. Just the same house as always, but still, it felt unusual.
Okay. What was your route that day? What else did you see or stop? Who else did you see or stop to talk to?
That Sunday, I had started from the west side of town and moved eastward. After passing the Smith place, I went on to the next farm. The owners weren't home though, so I left their goods on the porch. Then I headed toward the next one. I talked to the owner there for a bit. He wanted to know if I'd heard anything about a new blacksmith opening nearby. After that, I made my way back home to rest the horse. I didn't have any more stops that day.
An eyewitness reported seeing your cart passing slowly by the Smith's house around the time of the murders. Can you explain why you may have been going so slowly?
That kind of makes sense. My cart's left front wheel has been loose lately, and the road near the Smith's place is uneven and bumpy. I usually slow down around there to keep from jostling the goods or breaking a wheel. Plus, I tend to look over each property when I pass, just in case someone's waving me down. I wasn't loitering or stopping, just being careful.
A piece of your hair and a footprint were found at the scene. How do you think they ended up there?
Well, I was inside their home on Saturday, like I said. I dropped off a few things and stood in the front room. I took off my hat out of respect, so I guess a hair could have fallen from it. As for the footprint, if it were near the front door, that makes sense too. I walked up on their porch and maybe stepped just inside. I wear the same boots every day and they leave a pretty distinct tread, but I didn't go in on Sunday.
Okay. Have you heard of any arguments, bad blood, or tension between the Smith family and anyone else in the area?
Not that I know of. The Smiths were quiet people. They didn't stir up much trouble. If anyone had a grudge, I didn't hear about it. People seem to like them fine, though I don't know. They were especially close to their neighbors. They kept to themselves, but that's not uncommon around here.
Okay, sounds good. Did anything about the Smith home or their behavior seem different this past weekend compared to your previous visits?
If I had anything to say, maybe Miss Smith looked a little worn out, but that could mean anything. Long week, sick kid. You never know. The house was clean, no signs of trouble. It smelled like stew when I walked in on Saturday, which is usually a good sign that things are normal. Sunday, the silence stood out, but again, not enough for me to think anything bad had happened.
Is there anything else you remember, any small detail that you think we should know?
Just that I've been doing this job a long time, and if something had struck me as odd, I like to think I'd remember it. I didn't see any strangers around the Smith place. No dogs barking, no smoke, nothing. I passed by like I always do. If someone else was there that day, I just didn't see them.
Okay. That is all I have for you today. Thank you for coming in to answer my questions. Your help is very appreciated. Have a great rest of your day, Francis.
Thanks.